Welcome to my show, Mr. Westworld. Mr. Westworld, welcome to my show. Welcome to my show, Mr. Westworld. Mr. Westworld, welcome to my show. Good morning, good people. Thanks for stopping by. Another episode of Westworld. We're going to tap into this case of the cornerback for the Lions. I do believe his name is TERRION Arnold. And get up to date and see where this case is headed. With that being said, I'm going to roll that content.
For Lions quarterback TERRION Arnold facing legal difficulty with training camp about a month away. He was arrested Wednesday night in Tampa, facing 4 counts of kidnapping and 4 counts of armed robbery, charges that carry a potential sentence of life in prison. Prosecutors at Arnold coordinated a group that lured 3 men into an apartment in February where victims were pistol whipped and robbed at gunpoint. Arnold turned himself in and was in court earlier this afternoon. The representative categorically denies any involvement and says he looks forward to his day in court.
I hope he's not guilty.
Joining us now is our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. JJ, what more can you tell us in terms of what's next and what information you have for us thus far?
So immediately what's next is TERRION Arnold will have a hearing again on Monday morning. So it does appear that while no bond was set, he's going to remain in the custody of the state over the weekend. And again, he voluntarily turned himself in on Wednesday, but of course the arrest warrant was going to be forthcoming. And so he had to know that this was a possibility that he would have to be in jail over the weekend. We're going to get to Monday and then see what happens. Of course, he is saying that he is innocent of these charges, 4 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of armed robbery. Now, he and the Detroit Lions have been aware that charges could come from this February incident. While many people may be hearing about this for the first time, it did take place in February, and it took place after TERRION Arnold and some of his associates reported a theft at an Airbnb that he was renting of more than $250,000. And then later on, 2 of the 3 people who were lured to that apartment, and of course, prosecutors say that TERRION Arnold conspired to lure them to that apartment. 2 of those 3 were found by police to have nothing to do with that potential robbery of TERRION Arnold. Now, you may say, why is he just now getting arrested? Well, according to prosecutors, and frankly, according to the statement made by one of his representatives last night, it appears that at least one of the people, and maybe even multiple of the people who had previously been arrested in connection to that kidnapping and armed robbery, wound up turning state's evidence, wound up talking and pointing a finger or multiple
Wow.
fingers. FBI, open up! So it is with that, with the sort of, the plea deal, previously defendants who are now turning state's evidence, it is with that sort of evidence that prosecutors are saying we now have enough to charge him with
Wow.
counts here that, of course, they're making it seem like a very big.
This don't look like it's going in the right direction at all. Because if somebody done turned state on him out of his friends, it's not looking good. People are starting to try to save their own self in this situation. But we definitely not going to start accusing him of any wrongdoings and let this case play out. But, I feel sorry for anybody that was harmed by this situation because nobody want to go through nothing like that. We're going to run a little bit more of this content, and I'm going to let you good people up out of here.
Big deal, up to life in prison for this. And so, again, we'll know far more about what is next once we get to Monday. But for right now, some very hefty charges against Arnold, and he'll be in jail over the weekend.
Yeah, hefty charges for what we're learning, orchestrating.
That man said he will be in jail over the weekend. He's not getting out.
Legal system proceedings here. What is the thing that the league can do? What is at their disposal given a situation like the one we're facing right now?
Yeah, Tommy, I think you said it. We're about a month away from training camp, right? And so typically, no one reacts. I don't even want to say over or underreacts. No one with the league typically reacts.
Did they pick up a cornerback in the draft? anyone know if they picked up a cornerback in the draft?
And so right now, so that's fine. Now, there's a couple of scenarios that could play out. Could the Detroit Lions, with the available information that's there, could they decide, you know what, we're done. We're cutting former first round pick. Sure, they could do that. But of course, he could be found not guilty in a court of law. So that doesn't seem likely unless the evidence before he goes to trial is so overwhelming that you know what you have to do and the time to do it. Another potential instance is the NFL could suspend TERRION Arnold. I don't see that as being the case until this legal process.
The NFL is not going to move forward on that until they get more evidence.
That if the legal process is not played out, we are not going to step in. A third potential option is that he could be placed on the commissioner's exempt list. Now, that is essentially paid leave. I don't know that that necessarily is going to be the case a month from now. Ultimately, let's say that he does remain in jail when training camp begins. He could be placed on the did not report list for the Detroit Lions. Again, very far away from all of those things happening. But in terms of whether the Detroit Lions are going to cut him or he's going to be suspended by Monday morning, unless there's overwhelming evidence to the Detroit Lions that it is better for them to move on from TERRION Arnold, I would expect him to still be a member of that team next week.
Guys, I'm going to wrap it up right there. That's going to be something to follow. I hope the young man didn't do what he's accused of, but we're going to leave that up to the justice system. I'm quite sure he's going to have some good attorneys representing him in that case. So with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here like always, good people. Peace.